Hello Pisces, thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot. Supportive Oracle Cards, Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish. Okay, we're going to start out with these. What do we have here for Pisces? Oh, that looks good. Alright, that looks good. Let's see where it's going. I'm getting a little excited here. And as I probably usually, if not always, say, I'm a Pisces too, so... Although, I don't know if these usually work for me directly, but I'd be into this one working for me. Now, this one doesn't really seem like... It seems like there's a boring moment, but I don't think there's like... Let's start from the beginning, because something's coming in, like, you're heading somewhere really good, but you got to let go to get it. Something like that. Let's start from the beginning, like I keep saying. Creativity, 10 of Wands, 7 of Wands. Fighting to keep yourself in the game. Trying to keep yourself motivated, trying to keep yourself going. There's something you want and you're working towards it, but I feel like there's doubts kind of like playing in here and there. And it's kind of like you see other people getting what you want. And you're like, well, okay, I keep working towards it. Other people keep getting it. How come, like, you don't want to take it from anybody else. That's not the thing. But it's kind of like, I want to be there with them. Like, they're getting what they want. I want to get it too. Like, I want to be a part of that group. It's kind of like, you know, it's not like one person's the winner. It's not like that. It's kind of like there's the winner's circle, and you want to be in the winner's circle. You want to be in there with everybody else. Because you're seeing a lot of other people get this victory, and you're kind of like, yeah, I'm working towards that. Yeah, I want that. Yeah, come on, my turn. And I'm getting like there's a lot of information coming towards you about how to make this happen. Whatever it is, the information is there. So it's kind of like, it's almost like it's just out of reach. It's kind of like, I feel like you're on one side of the chasm and the success is on the other side, and you're like, where's the bridge? How do I get across this? How do I bridge this gap? I don't know what I'm going to do here. I get the next thing coming in for you. Study. 6 of Wands. Nope. 6 of Swords. 7 of Swords. Don't give up. Oh, man, that's my strongest energy right now. Do not give up. It seems very like there's not a lot of details coming in. I'm kind of like, it's all about what you want. And I feel like they're saying there's something you're falling short on it. It's like you fell short on it many times. But it's like, it's kind of like you have to let go of it to get it, for it to come your way, but you can't give up on it. So this sounds a little tricky. So how are you supposed to make that happen? Like, you don't give up on it, but you got to let go of it at the same time. That seems contradictory. But it's kind of like don't give up that it can happen, but don't hold on to it so tight that it has to happen a certain way. If there's a certain relationship you're looking for, or a certain business avenue you're trying to make happen, they're saying, like, relax a bit. Let it kind of come your way. Don't give up on it like it's not going to work. Like, don't get pessimistic on it. But I'm feeling kind of like, I always use baking analogies, but I don't have one for this one. So I'm like, is there a baking analogy for this? I don't see one. Because I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know, this is sort of related. It's kind of like a planting one. And I feel like they've used this analogy in The Secret a lot. But it's kind of like, you know, you're trying to make something come. You're trying to make something happen. You have little things popping through the soil, but it's not enough. You're like, that's not exactly what I want. Every time something comes through the soil, you're like, that's cool. Not what I'm looking for, but it's cool. And this keeps happening to you. You're like, it doesn't quite hit the right spot. Like, it's like you're trying to grow tomatoes, and you end up with, like, sunflowers, and you end up with cucumbers, and you end up with flowers, and you're like, no, not what I'm looking for. Good, but not what I want. Like, you keep getting results, just not exactly the results you want. So I'm feeling like if you kind of like let go a little bit and just kind of like keep going with it, but instead of like being so centered on, I want the tomatoes, if you get sunflowers, work with the sunflowers. Do you like sunflower seeds? Do you know somebody else who does? Cucumbers, flowers, whatever you get, like just kind of work with what you get for now, and sooner or later what you're actually looking for will show up. But I feel like that's what they're saying. Like, don't give up totally, but like what's coming instead of what you're looking for, work with that. Destiny is also here. This reminds me of when I was younger. I had jobs in communication, in banking, and a few different other things that all helped me do what I do now. And I'm almost feeling like that might be what's been going on. They're giving you pieces of the puzzle so that way when you actually get what you want, you have the ability to sustain it and keep it and understand what exactly is going on. I'm getting the Destiny card here. Is like, none of this is off plan. It may constantly feel like it's off plan to you, but it's really not. You're getting all these little pieces. Again, like for me, I worked in banking, I worked in customer service, I worked in food service actually for a while. I've even worked in insurance. But all these things taught me how to handle things I'm dealing with now in different ways, and different ways to handle people, to talk to people, to relate to people, how to handle my finances, how to make sure this works out with that you don't end up, screwing yourself over by choices you're making. Stuff like that. So they're saying what's coming forward, even though it seems like you've had a lot of misses, you really haven't. It's all stuff you're going to kind of group together and use all at one time. More information is coming your way. Something good is coming. Judgment will end up in your favor at some point, but I'm noticing that 5 of Pentacles. So now, is it totally okay? You are getting what you want, but there's something with that 5 of Pentacles. I'm really curious. We have to get there first to see what they're saying with that, because I'm noticing you have a really good card balancing it out. So I'm like, we're ending up in a really good place. But what I'm seeing this right here is like somebody else is coming forward and helping you out. Somebody else is coming forward and helping you out, but I'm feeling like they're coming forward in a way that like they have to be very careful. Somebody's offering you something, but I'm also getting like they have to mind their P's and Q's. They have to go by the rules. The King of Wands going by the rules, like the protection here is like this person coming towards you realizes if they don't go by the rules, you're not going to get what they want you to get, and they're not going to get anything out of this either. Like there's something about rules going on here. And the fire going by rules, like the rules of fire, like what are rules of fire? Like, you're not really going to set water on fire usually unless you put some other chemical with it. You need oxygen. That's a rule of fire, isn't it? Most times, as far as I know. I assume you need oxygen to make fire. Heat's another thing. You need certain rules. There's certain rules with fire. Something combustible, something burnable, some oxygen, a favorable environment. Because I'm feeling like there's rules, but their rules are different than your rules too, is what I'm getting to. Somebody's coming towards you, they're following their rules. Be aware of that, because this is why I think we're really touching on this. When it comes forward and they're going by rules, these are rules they have to follow. Water has its own rules. Pisces is water. This is just an analogy to say what they have their own rules they're following by. You might want to try to figure out what those rules are, though, because that's going to dictate how they come towards you. Because I'm getting like something coming forward very fast, but with restriction. This is so... Again, both of these cards, like something coming in fast, but within certain parameters. Fire has its own rules. Got to have oxygen. Got to have a burnable source. Blah 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 blah. Favorable environment. You're not going to start a fire in a puddle usually. Not usually. Not usually. You know what I'm saying? So there's rules, but it's coming in fast based on the rules of fire, whatever that is. Now, when this comes in, see, this is the letting go coming in. Again, this feels like this is not quite working for you. You're like, okay, wait a minute. This time, I'm getting squash. I actually like squash. Still not tomatoes. Can't make the sauce I want with squash. Can't do that. So, again, it feels like something else. It's like it's a bit off. It's good. It's better. But what I'm getting here with the let go and the 7 of Pentacles is like whatever you get, work with it. Work with it. There's something about these rules and these rules evolving more into your favor later. The Judgment, they're telling me this is really to your favor. This is really going the way you want. You just may not see it right off the top. It's almost like if you were like so centered on these tomatoes because you wanted to use them for a salad or for a sauce or whatever, they're like, Something about, like, see the squash? Like, what can you do with the squash? How many different things can you make with the squash? Go research the squash. Go with the squash. Like, I don't know what to say about it other than they're saying they're giving you something different, but you can still have that level of happiness. Something different than you're expecting is coming your way. It's all about your perception. If you feel like it's out of balance with this Five of Pentacles, that's like feeling left out in the cold. But this card goes two different ways. This is kind of like feeling warmth because somebody kind of feels you out or feels what you need and somebody kind of helps you. Sometimes this card comes in a little differently for me anyway, because the picture on it, you see that person caring for the one who's wounded. You might have a chance to care for somebody who's wounded, and this might finally yield you what you want. Something about the rules of fire here. True love come to me. They're like, this is another piece to the puzzle of getting you what you eventually do want. This is like another check mark on the path. You're still in the path. Like, they're not saying you'll never get what you actually want, like you'll never get those tomatoes, but they're saying work with this. You might be the one comforting, pulling somebody else who feels out in the cold in, and helping them feel, you know, that they have a place and they can do something. And you might be helping somebody else, and down the line they might help you back to help you finally get the goal you actually want. Again, these rules here, fire with rules, it's just kind of blowing me away. So I feel like judgment goes in your favor by working with this situation, helping whoever it is. You seem to be comforting somebody. I'm getting, again, somebody else feels left out in the cold, and I think you're comforting them. That's your judgment in your favor. That's going to help you get closer to that goal that you actually want. Whatever you're actually trying to go for, what actually you want to achieve, this person helps you get closer to it. So I think this is good. I'm trying to like relate to this myself as a Pisces, because I'm kind of like, if I had a set goal, like I want to go here, and I'm ending up somewhere else, but the person who's helping me get there to this other place could end up being more of an asset later, I can kind of see how that could go well. So it's interesting because it's not exactly hitting the mark you want, but it's getting you closer. The mark you do want at some point will happen. It's just not happening here, but this is getting you closer to it. All right, are we good? All right, we're done. I'm going to shut that down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.